All right, man. I've been waiting for months for it, and it arrived.
Oh, let's go. That is so sick,
Dude, the
dude.
Makima shirt, dude, I love it. It fits so good. It's so comfortable. It looks sick. It took forever to get here, but yeah, just went to the dentist. Walked in, bunch of Asian ladies. They're like, "Oh, nice shirt." I'm like, "I
Yeah,
know." They're
that's
like, "You
right.
watch like animation?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do." They're like, "Oh,
I
is that
definitely
like
do.
Japanese writing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it says Makima." And they're like, "You can read Japanese?" I was like, "Yes, I can."
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Dude, I was like a celebrity. They were asking me like what I do, and I was pretty much like I'm a shut in, and they're like, oh. She was like very receptive over it, and I ended up later finding out that
Yeah.
her husband was. I was like, ah, wonderful.
Sounds like a cool guy.
Someone who supports shut-ins. I was like, do you
Yeah.
have a daughter? Like, listen, not only can I speak Japanese, I am single. Seems like your family likes shut-ins. Like,
Got a good thing going there. I feel a
yeah,
connection, you know?
let's keep it going. But yeah, just absolutely just a great experience. It was nice, and dude, I'm like, I love this shirt. Sadly, the website like doesn't have any others, or I'd be buying multiple. Um,
Oh, true.
but it is what it is, and I'll give you guys a website later on. But right now, I'm still kind of mad at them because it took forever to get this, and it's like unacceptable. They told me next week, and then that was 4 months ago. So want to cool down a little
Yep.
bit. We're gonna have a video talking about anime apparel and where you can get the best stuff. But anyways, welcome back, guys, to episode 15 of the Casual Weebs podcast. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. This week, again, as always, was amazing. We guessed a lot right this time. We
Dude, your
actually,
predictions last week were
dude.
excellent. The whole time I'm watching these episodes, I'm like, ooh, yeah, Jake was right.
I mean, I was right on My Hero Academia. You were right on Demon Slayer. I mean, dude, we were on it, and I mean, there's so much to talk about. So much to talk. We got to get into Kaiju number 8. We have to.
So sick, dude. Such a good episode. That was, I feel like, the highlight of the week for me. It was like a lot of action. You kind of saw some stuff coming together, and I think we're learning a little more about the story. They didn't give us too much, but I feel like we learned a little bit more about like what the fuck is actually going on in the world of kaiju. Um, yeah, and you got to see how badass like these kaiju can be. Like
Dude,
their
yes.
regeneration, their restorative properties. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what you want to call it, but like
Transformative, I'd say, because they can morph into different things and do different stuff and have different phases, I guess you can call it. You know what I mean?
and
Or
like
forms.
their like intelligence and
Mm-hmm.
adaptability. I think that's the thing that stands out most right now for me in season one. Like Kaiju number 9 was all about like, learning like, all right, that's how Kaiju number 8 fights. Next time I'll kill you. Even this Kaiju, after a couple like major attacks from Hoshino, he's like, all right, that's how hard you hit. Now I know how to like dodge it next time, or next time you won't hit me. Like it's kind of cool to see that they're like constantly striving to be better than whoever they're fighting. It's almost human, but they're definitely not.
Well, I look at Kaiju number 9 as more the scientist. He's trying to like biologically engineer Kaiju to like be destructive and do all this different stuff, while Kaiju number 10, which I think is what he's going to be called, is more of like a brute force warrior. And I think that that really supports your idea of these clans in the world of kaiju, because he even said that like he fights other kaiju. It seems like there's other intelligent kaiju out there instead of just the first couple we've been seeing. So it seems like there's a whole nother world to them that we haven't seen yet. It seems like they are kind of on Earth. So it'll be interesting to see where they're hiding out at, where these tribes and clans kind of live, and kind of the whole story behind the actual kaiju themselves. Because I think that we're starting to learn now in the story that the Defense Force does not know anything about kaiju. They are very, very limited in knowledge. They just
Yeah.
kind of know how to defeat some of them, and that is it. But yeah, it was absolutely sick, dude. He looks like Kafka's kaiju form. Like there's definitely something there in the same
He's a
power
mix.
outage too.
Yeah, and he's like, you're right, the same fortitude. It was really giving me I can never remember his name. The guy at the end of Solo Leveling at the season that Jinwoo beats, like that mixed with Kaiju number 8. Like that soldier, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like the armor kind of
yeah.
like a
Oh,
red
Iris.
Kafka. Iris, yes. How the fuck did I forget that?
You were the biggest
Yeah,
Iris fan too.
yeah, he was like so badass. But that, like, the whole time, I'm like thinking it's like a cool combination between those two. And part of that, I want to say, is because Mina and Hoshino. can't really talk honestly with Kafka and Shinomiya because they know what's up, but captain and vice captain don't like, oh, they can talk, they're intelligent, kind of like you said, they're engineering like smaller kaiju to be like have reproductive organs and be able to like come back and restore themselves, regenerate and all that stuff. So like
Yeah.
there is this disconnect that I think they'll clear up, but yeah, the defense force is kind of like dragging its feet, getting with Kafka and also like learning what everybody knows as like a whole.
Oh my god! And kind of like speaking on that, boys, I got a Kaiju number 8 spoiler, like sort of by accident.
What
So
happens?
no, see, that's the thing. It's like the best kind of spoiler. I'm not going to talk about it, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. Because it's like it just leads my brain to have conspiracy theories. So I was trying to look up Iharu's name and kind of like, oh, who's the pink haired dude? So I looked up, Kaiju number 8 characters. Don't do that because what it's going to do, it's not going to have like a list of
Yeah.
characters. It's going to show you their formations. So like when I first opened up the website, I was like, oh, it's a captain somebody, and vice captain somebody. I'm like, that's not Mina or Hoshina. And I was like, oh, this is Division 1, right? And then I went down to Division 3, and then
Okay.
that's where they were. I'm like, oh, makes sense. But then it shows you all of like the officers and all that kind of stuff. And in, I guess it's updated to the manga because everyone was split up. People were like moved
Okay,
around.
that's cool.
So like that's the thing. Like it was able to see where in the manga everyone is in like what division and also what rank they have. So like it's not like a direct spoiler. Like I don't know exactly what happens. But like that's where it kind of leads your mind to kind of like think of stuff. You know what I mean? To kind of like, oh, like how did this happen, or how did this person get to this rank, and this person's only at this rank. You know what I mean? It was very interesting, but like it sucks.
Very cool.
But like, yeah, now I can't speak on certain things at Kaiju number 8 because like I have ideas, I have theories of what's happening.
I think the biggest thing for me, like having read the end of Demon Slayer, and I did a good job with My Hero. Like, just I forget like I what I read. Like, I don't remember any of the major events. Like, I remember who fights who, but like,
Yeah.
just forget the details. It's so hard not to like spoil it because as
Oh,
soon as
yeah.
this season is over, I'm like, I got like the Windbreaker tab lurking. I got the Kaiju tab lurking.
Dude, I can't. I hate spoilers. I hate spoilers. But like, that's where it's like going back to like we were talking about like the higher ups and kind of a little bit of disconnect. I think it's gonna be very interesting because, like I said, this is not what we thought. It's not like, oh, here's the kind of the main crew and they're
Yeah,
in a squad together and yay. It's like actually like it seems like these are the kind of characters we're gonna be following, but they're kind of doing their own thing. It seems like it's not going to be set in stone of where people are. It seems like people will be transferring to different divisions, different squads, doing different things and stuff like that. Um, so it's gonna be really cool to kind of learn more about the defense force, especially when we start branching out. Because I don't think that they're actually fully a part of Division 3 yet. Now that I think about it, it seems like they just kind of got in and they're kind of training and being introduced until they're like, okay, well here's you're permanently gonna go, or you're gonna go for now. You know what I mean? Like they haven't been assigned anywhere yet.
yeah. And I think Hikaru getting her like that was really badass.
Bro,
She
she's
said it
got
doesn't
breathing
fit her,
styles.
dude.
Yeah,
That's what I
she
thought.
was like first form, like this. I was like, oh,
Zen,
she's a demon slayer.
Zenitsu, fucking that shit looks so sick. And like I thought it did. I'm with what's his
What the
name?
hell was that?
Yeah, what is yeah? Did somebody just send us like a Facebook like? Did I just get poked on
Yo,
Facebook?
Discord's like that axe was fucking sick, bro.
How did that even happen?
Dude,
Yeah,
Discord.
like nah,
It's Discord.
Discord's
Discord's like
rocking with it.
Kaiju Ray
Team
was lit.
Shinomiya. Yeah, but like the design was super cool. I think kind of going off what you said, like you might have seen some spoilers and some rankings and stuff. I think since Shinomiya got a weapon dedicated to her, Hoshino obviously uses his, custom weapon. I'm sure Mina has one since she's the captain.
Hers is that
I
gun.
feel like, yeah, I feel like a couple other people, maybe Ishikawa or Iharu or the two. I can never the muscle
Yeah, we
guy
know who you're
and
talking about though. The
defense daddy's
yeah,
son. um, like I'm sure some of them will get weapons or they'll get promotions and stuff, and that'll kind of all fall into line. But I feel like the pacing of this, like you said, is definitely not what I expected, and it's going a little bit faster, which I like. I think it's cool. It's got me a little more engrossed in the story, but it's moving quicker. Like they just got here, they're training,
and
kind
they're
of
already
like they're
fighting. We just got Kaiju number
they're
9, and
learning
now
all
we're
their
getting Kaiju
feet.
number 10.
Yeah, and like you've got these major developments and like major battles that are uncovering while you're still kind of getting initiated. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kafka just became a full-fledged defense officer, like last week it feels like. So it's cool to see them like kind of hit the ground running and have no choice but to like learn and learn together. And that's maybe why part of why they're all like so tight. They're a really tight knit group, which is cool.
Yeah, I think they're doing a fantastic job because I like how fast paced it is, but you're also exploring multiple plot points all at the same time. You're getting a ton of information. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we feel like we're lost, like it's going too fast. Like I feel like we're keeping up.
Yeah,
We're understanding it. It's done so right. The character development's amazing. Like, dude, Shinomiya is like one of my favorite characters. Like
she rocks.
Shinomiya and Ichikawa and Kafka are just ride or die characters. You know what I mean? Like they're characters where I'm just so I love them so much. Like I don't even like so attached to them. You know what I mean? Like they're just so amazing, and I'm just like so hyped up. I think Kaiju number 8 is such an amazing anime, such a great season 1, and it's like please, 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 please do not botch this. Please don't mess this up. Please don't tank season 2. You know what I mean? So like I'm super excited. I think it's absolutely lit. I think it's dude this episode, everything about it. Like we didn't even really get into like the badassery. I mean, Ichikawa got some recognition from Shinomiya where he was holding his own. Dude, his ice rounds, that's like his thing. That was awesome. Shinomiya with a battle axe
Super cool.
going to work. Like, oh, we can't go through them. Well, we can't get behind them. Fuck it, we'll just go through them. You know what I mean? Going to work with a
Super
battle
sick.
axe. Hoshina, his fight, like, lures the guy into the training area and then goes to work on him, cuts off his arm, and it's just like, fuck you, buddy. Like, he handled him so well. Like, so well. Like, that fight was insane. Hoshina killed it. You know, and then this guy transformed. Now it's like, next episode, boys. Kafka, Kaiju number 8. Hoshina versus the big bad Kaiju number 10. That's where Hoshina is going to realize Kaiju number 8 is not a bad dude. Because he's going to step in, they're going to fight together, and it's going to be like, damn. It's going to be like, damn.
Yeah,
I don't know.
nah, I think you're right on the money. Like, if I had to predict what is this going to be episode 10?
Let's just say, yeah. I'm not sure.
I think, yeah, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. If I had to make a prediction for this episode, the first thing that came to mind was like after, I guess Hoshina kind of beats him for the second time after he like powers up and grows in size. He like becomes a giant, right?
Mm-hmm.
My first thought was like, all right, now they're going to call in Nina. She'll use her gun. That's kind of like her specialty, the big giant
She's
kaiju.
off base.
But she's not on duty. But the other officers who were off duty did show up. Do you think she shows up for this? Or like she runs into Kafka as Kaiju number 8?
So the off-duty guys, they were still in the area. She went to another base, I think. I think she went to HQ or something. So
Yeah, she did say she had like meetings or something to
yeah.
attend to, I think, in the previous episode. But I don't know. Part of me feels like she's going to show up just to fight it because of the size and it's kind of her specialty. But I don't know. I think they might be
See,
setting us up for like an inconvenient meeting with Kaiju number 8.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that like Mina's like not like just like off duty or just like just outside the base. Like she's like gone. Like she's at HQ. She's real far away. She's not gonna be able to make it back in time. And since you don't have that big heavy hitter, well, who's gonna fill in that spot, right? Because Hoshina is good at the smaller, medium guys, close range. You know what I mean? We're at a size now where usually we have this badass chick with a massive cannon that puts a couple shots to the heart. You know what I mean? She's not
Yeah.
there now. Well, who's gonna replace that? Kaiju number 8. That's where that power comes in. So that's why I feel like he's gonna work with Hoshina. Hoshina's gonna be conflicted where he's like, shit, who do I fight? Because he's gonna think Kaiju number 8's still my enemy. They're gonna kind of work together maybe and take on number 10. But I don't know, maybe Hoshina too is like, I feel like he's gonna be stubborn about it. I don't think he's gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's work together. Like, he's a great guy. Maybe Kaiju number 8 is a good, like, I feel like he's gonna work with Kaiju number 8, but he's still gonna think of Kaiju number 8 as his enemy. Like he still might take a shot at Kafka at the very end. You know what I mean? But then later on, that's where we're gonna have his deep thought of, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I'm missing something. You know what I mean? Type of thing. I don't think Hoshina is just gonna, oh, Kaiju number 8, big friendly guy, he helped me against Kaiju 10. Let's make friends and have tea party. You know what I mean? But I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be the start of Hoshina realizing that there's so much more to the story that he just doesn't understand. There's so much that is going on that is just way beyond them. Because before, it was just normal kaiju. Now we have kaiju who are able to speak, able to turn into humans. You know, something's not right with them. Because we had kaiju number 8 who isn't attacking people. Kind of weird, right? something we've talked about. Kaiju number 9, who is able to transform into humans and do all this other stuff. Kind of weird. Now we have another guy who's doing coordinated attacks against the base. That is the first time that has ever happened. It is just against the military base, a coordinated attack, and they're using kaiju that are known for being like on their own, like solo. They're not using it
Yeah.
together. So you're really starting to realize just how uninformed and how in the dark the defense force is. And I feel like if Kaiju number 8 works with Hoshina, that's where it's gonna have. He's gonna have that realization where it's like, dude, like I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's an ally for now, type thing.
Yeah, I think at some point Hoshin is going to have to take a step back just because of his lack of knowledge and also his lack of ability to deal with threats that size. If Mina were to be killed or knocked out to the point where she can't fight, it would come down to him. And I think he knows like there are certain aspects he can't do what Mina can do, and that's where Kafka could fill in.
Yeah,
I do agree with you. I think he'd be stubborn in a sense that he doesn't want to work with a kaiju or like
he'll still think of it as
give.
his enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think he would struggle to give Kafka the credit and admit that he's not just strong, he's probably the strongest person in the defense
I
force
don't think
in
that
his
he'd know it's
kaiju
Kafka
form.
though. That's my whole thing. I don't think he'd know it's Kafka. I think that that's going to be a secret for a while. I don't think that they're.
Ah,
It's hit or miss.
I
It's
feel
either
like
people are going to find out real soon, or they're never going to find out until maybe towards the end type thing. Kind of with a Deku with his all might powers. You know what I mean? Like no
it'll take
one
a
knew
while.
about that until the very end, and then the big secret came out. You know what I mean? That could be like with this, where no one's gonna know about him being Kaiju number 8 until the last massive battle type thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they'll play it out. I think eventually he'll either run into Mina or Hoshino and they'll have to come to grips with that is Kafka. And
Hmm.
even though like maybe he didn't earn that strength and power like the others have, they need it more than they need somebody like, Shinamiya or Ishikawa, because eventually you're gonna face these threats that only a kaiju can deal with. So I do think it'll come to the surface at some point, kind of like you were saying, they'll get into this battle and then it'll be like, all right, well, yeah, Kaiju number eight's not fighting us, so like we do have to admit that there's like some human element to it where it's not fighting people, it's not trying to kill, the guys on the defense force, and it's actively helping us. These last two
Yeah,
fights.
it'll give them a little more depth to their thought because then they're like
Yeah,
something's not normal. And he even kind of admitted that where he's like something's not right against Kaiju number 8. We talked about last episode where he's like, yeah, he like didn't fight you. That's why. So dude, I'm excited. I'm so stoked for next week because if Kaiju number 8 and Hoshino fight together, damn,
that would
damn.
be dynamite.
And like if Kaiju number 8 does step in and Kaiju number 10 looks at him, he's gonna be like, we look similar. You know what I mean? And I feel like something might happen with that, where it's like, oh, cool. You know what I mean? He might say something like, hey, like you might be like part of the. I don't know. I don't know, but that'd be cool if there's an interaction between them. We get a little bit more about Kafka being Kaiju number 8.
I think we will get a lore bomb or at least a piece of something like, oh, you look like you come from XYZ, or like, you know, they'll dive into a little bit. I think they'll scratch the surface without giving us too much, but I think it is time because it's interesting. Like
Yeah.
you want to get a little bit of the lore. I think it's time we get a little some bits and pieces of like where these guys are coming from and what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I completely agree. But moving on to Demon Slayer here.
Good
I
stuff. That was a fun
actually,
episode.
yeah, I actually got to give Demon Slayer community their flowers, their props, okay? Because I ended up posting a short where from last episode I talked about where I kind of came at the Demon Slayer community. Yeah, I didn't really, but I addressed them a little aggressively, you Demon Slayer fans, and brought up the whole thing where the Mistashira was able to go 2-on-1 against Sanemi and Obanai. And I was like, damn! You know what I mean? Now, the thing is, anime fans are passionate. As you can see, Blake's wearing an Eagles hat. Philly fans are a little passionate. You know what I mean? We're known to be a little bit of pieces of shit, but like growing up with that, like you understand passionate people. So dealing with anime people, like it's not
Yes.
difficult. But some of them are deranged, where it's like you get comments to go kill yourself. You know what I mean? And we didn't get that this time. Like, people were just responding like, "Hey, like here's our defense for Tsunemi. Like, I get what you mean, but Tsunemi is just stronger, and here's kind of why." So, like, big props to the Demon Slayer fan base. I know that spoiling is something that's super common for you guys. That's something where it's like I see
That's
shorts all
true.
the time where it's just spoiling, and no one's in the comments like, "Dude, like spoiler, what the fuck?" Like, it's just such a known and like common thing. So, if you did spoil, I did delete it. I'm not mad at you. So just know that. And I appreciate for anybody who did ask, like, hey, like, this is a spoiler. Do you want me to tell you or not? You know what I mean? So I just want to give the flowers to the people who did comment. You guys were actually, like, very cool, very genuine. So I appreciate it. You know, when we have a good fan base that's not just like, hey, you should go kill yourself because I disagree with you, you know, you should give them a little bit of props. All right. So I just wanted to,
Hell
like,
yeah.
you give the Demon Slayer fans their flowers for that. But you were also right because we were trying to take some votes of who we're gonna visit next, and you brought up the Love Hashira, and that's exactly where we went. We went to a couple of Hashiras last episode. That was awesome.
Yeah, it felt like they were kind of starting to speed up the training arc a little bit. We get to see Mitsuri, we get to see Obanai, and just kind of like some of their interactions I thought were really funny. Seeing Obanai like get a
Jealous?
message from,
Oh
yeah, from Mitsuri,
yes.
to get all jealous and stuff. Like that was really funny. And I mean, we know how Tanjiro is. He's like harmless and probably like the least horny anime character out there. Dude is like an anti-simp compared to like Zenitsu and all that. So
Well,
like it was just kind of funny seeing him react that way.
dude, I mean, him at the Love Hashira's house was the funniest thing because first of all, they're just drooling over food, like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then you see him in the tights, and everyone's like, I don't like this. And there's times you're like all happy, like, yay.
Just like yeah,
Fucking
that was
loves
great.
it. It doesn't matter what training he's doing, he loves it. But then he got, stretching, and that wasn't fun. But like, it was just insane. I thought that was just some it was really funny, it was awesome. Yeah, Obanai gets the letter and he's just like, I want to kill Tanjiro. Like, sounds like you had fun at my girlfriend's house.
Yeah, yeah,
Time to train,
yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah. And then I feel like he goes extra hard on them.
Yeah, he opens his
Um,
door and it's just all the demon slayers hanging from posts look like hostages, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, he's
yeah,
pissed.
some weird like pink shit fucking basement. It was some strange shit. But then like you see the exercise he has laid out was actually pretty cool, and it kind of plays to his abilities as a swordsman and kind
Mm,
of like his breeding style, which I think all of this, is to make Tanjiro a better swordsman and a better demon slayer. So like I felt like that was one of the more important exercises he's done so far, because Tanjiro does kind of get hesitant and soft when there's not just other
yo,
people around, but weaker people. It's one thing if it's a Hashira who can hold their own, or like Zenitsu or Inosuke. Like Tanjiro does pretty good when they're fighting alongside him, but I feel like he does hesitate and gets a little bit too weak in the
yeah.
context we're talking about upper moons and shit when you have like low profile demon slayers there. So that was a really good exercise for him.
So I actually noted that as well. I thought that this was like the one exercise that actually like really worked for him because like he went to all the other hashras and like he was able to like he improved, got work, got the exercise, got trained, but like he wasn't like dying. You know what I mean? He was like, I can do this. It is just pushing yourself. That's it. With this, like he struggled, like he fumbled, like he was like really hesitant. He wasn't trying to do this. Like, this is the one first exercise that he stepped in and was actually like really bad at and needed a ton of improvement. And so I think that it was like the best training he's gotten so far this arc. Not only that, but I mean, like, it's gonna help him improve a ton because like I think, don't quote me on this, I think he has hesitated multiple times in the past against that lower moon Rui or whatever his name is. I think he hesitated
Yes.
there. I think he might have hesitated in the entertainment district.
Against Daki. Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit pissed me off. He could have just took her head and made a badass scene. And then it's like, oh, well, you didn't kill the brother, so now you have two to fight. But they
yeah,
made him look like a total softy.
yeah. So like he does like hesitate and like he needs more confidence in that swing, and that's the exercise that's going to get him into it. And not only that, but like the pinpoint accuracy. So I feel like this was a massive training event for him. I thought it was huge. So I thought that was sick. I'm total agreement with you.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, and I think they're kind of pushing us along and taking Tanjiro to where he needs to go. Um, I'm sure with some of these situations that are going to come up, we know, you're coming to the last couple fights here with the upper moons. Like you have to get rid of those hesitations and be more like somebody like Senemi or Giyu or Guillaume, where it doesn't matter if two or three people are going to die. They want to kill that upper moon because they know how important that is. And I think Tanjiro will get more like that without losing who he is and what makes Tanjiro such a special character. He's funny, he's lighthearted, he's sweet, but then he can also like turn it on and be badass. And I think he'll have like the right balance of those two when all this training is done. And obviously, when shit hits the fan and it gets real, Tanjiro always shows up. I feel like so.
Yeah.
Not to slight him, but I think he'll be very very well equipped for his next fight comparatively to like Mugen Train and Entertainment District.
Yeah, and dude, and then we went to Tsunemi, and speaking of the lighthearted funniness,
Yeah,
fucking
gone.
dying. I was crying the whole part of Tsunemi's house. First of all, Zenitsu scared the shit out of me when he first came into frame. He was like, "Boom, Tandero!" He's
Yeah.
like, "Save me!" I'm like, Jesus Christ, man! It was out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just typical Zenitsu fashion, loud and fucking from the top rope.
He's trying to kill us. He's awful. It's just we have to run. We have to get out of here. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Go to the Tsunemis and like so many funny moments. I mean, when he confronted Tsunemi, with the whole thing with his little brother and stuff like that, and he ended up jumping in front and taking that blow and goes flying through the wall. And Snatcher's like, oh my god, he's back. He's back.
No,
He's like,
back. Yeah.
everyone lay down and pretend you fainted. Everyone
Yeah.
just jumps onto
And
the
he's
ground.
got like the others following along with him. It's great.
Bro, he like lays down and pretends like he's dead, and everyone just starts laying on top of him.
That's perfect.
I was crying. I thought that was one of the greatest scenes ever.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He brings up Zenitsu. He's like, Zenitsu, get him out of here. He's like, don't say my name. He's like, what's wrong?
Yeah, yeah. He like ropes him into it, and Tanjiro's like,
He's like,
that shit was awesome.
He's like, are you kidding me? He's gonna kill me now.
That was a perfect like scene for those two.
Dude, I don't know how people hate Zenitsu. I fucking love the guy. He's so funny. And then he has those scenes where he's so strong and badass.
That's what saves it for me because he shows up and like he was really great in the Entertainment District, but I always liked him since season one. Shameless, fucking super selfish, like unabashedly afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Like he's a great character. And then when he does show up and like later in this story, I think he'll continue to like elevate himself and redeem himself even more. But yeah, Zenitsu is such a great character.
Dude, just incredibly funny, just super strong. Again, has some of the coolest moments.
Yeah.
But like it's gonna be fucking sick to watch him like really turn it up and kind of see his full potential. Because I feel like, I mean, with his breathing style, with the way he is, it is just gonna be nasty. Because when he goes to sleep and that smoke kind of comes out of his mouth, and it's just boom, it's just real quick and like fuck, like yo,
So sick.
Zenitsu's lit. But
That's how you know shit's getting serious.
oh my god, yeah. So I think that was like I think the whole thing with Tsunemi was really funny. I think that him getting in trouble and then saying that hey you can't train with Tsunemi anymore, like we gotta put some distance between you two was amazing. I really wanted to see their fight because if you guys remember, Tanjiro knocked out Tsunemi the first time they met. I wanted that to be addressed, and it wasn't. Because I don't even remember he headbutted Tsunemi and Tsunemi got knocked out. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's just because he was like surprised and taken off guard." But I'm like, I would have loved if Tsunemi was like fuck you, we're going round two because technically Tanjiro won round one. There technically was round one and he won.
He is 1-0.
So yeah, I thought it was so funny. I thought the brawl until sundown was hilarious. Dude, so many funny moments. And then we got to the Stone Hashira. That guy seems like a psychopath. Like him in the like. First of all, Inosuke seems like he's perfect for him because Inosuke was under that waterfall and just looked at home. He was just like, "Yes, brothers, like let's go."
Yeah.
And then it pans to the Stone Hashira just in the fire, crying, just like pray, like meditating, like, "Oh my god, like can you imagine you're going against that?" I'd just be like,
And like
make it painless, man.
Yeah,
just please kill me.
his mindset too, where he's like literally sitting in a burning fire, and he's like, even fire feels cold if you like, steal your mindset. It was like, all right, this guy is
Bro,
badass.
the fire probably is scared of him. Like, please don't hurt us,
yeah,
sir.
it's just staying away from him. Yeah, I'm excited to see his training because he's the oldest and supposedly the strongest Ashira.
Mhm.
So it'll be cool to see kind of like what he can impart on Tanjiro and the boys, and kind of what he makes them go through. We've seen the waterfall thing and maybe some burning coal action here, but I'm excited to see what he puts them through.
Yeah, I want to see so much more about him because apparently I don't know anything about like stone breathing. I have no clue what it's going to look like, what it's going to be about. I know that you need
I
to
feel
be
like we've got
insanely
no
strong.
information.
Yeah.
we've got like no information on him or his breathing style, his backstory, anything up until this point. I might be forgetting something, but I don't think we've even like had any interaction with him other than like the couple meetings where everybody gets together.
The only thing that we know is that in order to be a stone breathing user, is you have to be like disgustingly strong. Like everyone that is a stone breather, or that uses stone breathing technique, it like looks like him, just like disgust like Hercules, just like a Viking that
Yeah,
is just like built massively. So I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like, kind of with the fighting styles. If I remember, he has a weird sword. I forget what it looks like. I remember it like seeing it when we first meet the Hashiras and we kind of get a look at all that. I remember it being weird. I don't think it's a normal katana. So I
he has those like swinging flails, like the ball with the spikes on it. I want to say it's like a flail.
okay. Yeah, so it's gonna be really cool to see him fight, especially if he's the strongest. So like, not even like strongest
Yeah,
like
what his
physically, but
style
like
is.
he's like the best Hashira. He's ranked number one apparently. So
Yeah,
cannot wait to see more about him, learn more about him, and kind of see what this is all about. Because when you see him crying for his enemies, I mean, shit's fucking terrifying.
that's deep, yo. That's how you know he's strong. So yeah, definitely excited for next episode and kind of hopefully they. I would be happy if they gave us an entire episode with like Yome and give us a little more about him and kind of like build a somewhat of a relationship there with Tanjiro and Zenitsu and Inosuke and just give us something more than we already what little we already have. You know what I
And
mean?
I think we're going to, because that's why they put him at the end, and they kind of teased it, and that's why they kind of sped through everyone else.
Yeah,
Because like everyone else, we kind of already like sort of know about in one way or another. Like we've talked about Tsunemi with his little brother's backstory and stuff like that. We've had multiple interactions with him. Same with Obanai. We got him from Mitsuri's. I think that's the Love Hashira's name. From her backstory. So it's
hmm
like I'd love to go deeper with them, but like we already had a little bit of a taste. Like the Stonehouse show, we kind of know nothing about, and then we would hopefully end it with Giyu and Shinobu, who are more deeper Hashiras, because Giyu is dealing with a lot, and there's a lot more to him, and it's a lot more complex, and he's just like a really important character to Tanjiro. So there's a bigger relationship there, and we've kind of already talked them in the beginning, so we probably won't at the end. But like Shinobu, like there's a lot there. Like she hates demons, and I feel like we're gonna go a lot more into her backstory because we're gonna learn more about the upper moon that killed her sister. Because remember, the last time we saw Shinobu this season, she sat down, that one girl, I forget her name, and she was like, I'm going to tell you the story about how my sister died and how to kill the demon that killed her. And that's when we were kind of talking about, like, oh, that's foreshadowing that Shinobu is apparently probably going to die. Because why else are you going to pass on how to avenge her sister? Like, okay, just write it on the fucking billboard.
yeah.
But
Nice foreshadowing there.
But I guess when we're gonna come back to her, that's when we're gonna learn more about that and that's probably what's gonna kick it off because that's gonna bring it back to the demons, and then boom, demon fight because they are watching them. They know where they live now. They're about to find the base.
Yeah, they are like kind of taking inventory and stock on what they're doing in their training and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
you're definitely right. I think Shinobu and Gyo, their lore and like what they're what they're supposed to do for the story, I feel like is more for the story and more for like the actual main plot than like a side plot or like this couple side characters that you love. Shinobu definitely plays into the main story a lot more, I think, and Giyu kind of to Tanjiro. So like you're definitely right with them being a little bit different and maybe separate in a way.
But we've
Their
already
lore
had
is a little bit,
Giyu, and we've already shown that because Giyu had a lot of time in the beginning of the season.
yeah, and I think kind of after this arc we get a little bit more of him and like what how he really feels. We kind of got like that feeling of inadequacy that he has, and he doesn't really feel like he earned it. Um, is Hashira title, but as he continues to develop as a character, I think it's more important to the story and what the Demon Slayers are, and Shinobu plays into that as well. So you're definitely right on the
Yeah,
money with that.
and I gotta like after Demon Slayer ends, like the anime, I gotta go back and like read the manga or light novels or spin-offs because like there's so much stuff that's like not being told either. That's like super fascinating. Like I knew stuff about Rengoku, that wasn't talked about or told. And
Yeah,
like little things, like I avoid those shorts that have the spoilers in them. But some of them kind of just give more context of what's already been revealed in the anime. Like for example, Giyu apparently looks at Tanjiro as his master. Tanjiro looks at Giyu as his master with the sword, but Giyu looks at Tanjiro as a master for like life. He's helped him so much
Yeah.
evolve as a person, which is why Giyu has that deep bond with him, and vice versa, and why he stood up for him when he met the Hashira. And it's the whole thing where it's like he's learning like how to come out of his shell more, like actually like appreciate life, because he those hard hitting moments that made him realize a lot was from Tanjiro. You know, the whole thing where he's saying like, why aren't you gonna live now for Sabato, and the whole thing with the eating contest. So apparently he looks a ton up to him, which is just very cool. And I didn't bring it up before, but like this whole controversy of like the Miss Asha and the 2-on-1, and it's like, oh well, like was he really trying? Who was really trying? Stuff like that. People were saying that, oh, Sanemi and Obanai weren't trying. I don't think anybody was, because someone would have died. But one cool thing that we talked about earlier in the week, but not on the podcast, is I saw that they were saying in a short that the whole reason why they did the 2-on-1 is because they just learned about the Demon Slayer marks. They don't know anything about it, and they're like, hey, what if we push him to reactivate it? Which is why they're like, hey, let's do the 2-on-1. Let's try to push the Misashira, Mitro, I think, to his point, so we can see what it looks like, see how to activate it, see what it does. Like, how much stronger is this guy going to get when he has it? So I thought that that was really cool. The mindset of the Hashira, where they're like really fascinated, and it's like, okay, how can we do this? How can we push ourselves to like get that and learn more about it and just become better fighters and to kick some ass?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like when the smart kid in class says the right answer, and you're like, oh, yeah, like that was
Yeah,
obvious.
I was like,
Like
yeah,
they're
no
not,
shit.
yeah, like they're not fighting each other to like, you know, come up with a ranking. I'm stronger than you. You're stronger than me. They're trying to push Tokito to see if they can get him to bring out this mark, this like near death experience where he elevates himself, so they can get an understanding for what it takes and how it enhances you. It's like it should have been obvious to me,
Well,
but my pea brain didn't pick it up like that.
same,
So
same. I
thank
didn't realize
you.
it until he said it. But like at the same time, I think it's like more than that too. But like also just to get better, because before they were sparring before Michiro was involved. You know what I mean? It was just the Wind Hashira and the Snake Hashira, and then when he got involved, that's why they're like, okay, let's do a 2-on-1. Like, let's really put up the pressure on you to try to get you going. And I think that more Hashira are going to join them. That'd be really cool to see, and kind of see them all kind of
Yeah,
grow and get stronger. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? Um, I guess I wasn't going to say something. uh, yeah, it's okay. I'll think of it after the podcast. I'm like, dude, guess
yeah.
what?
It'll come to you when it's too late, like it always does.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I hope I
good.
hope they do kind of like usher in a little more of that Hashira on Hashira like combat, because they have all said like they're not really getting anything out of training. They're training, the underlings and like the Slayer corps. They're not really getting anything out of it. So it'd be cool to get, maybe 10 minutes or half of an episode where they kind of showcase some of their skills, and they trade blows and stuff. And, I think it would make them a little bit closer, because as a group, they don't seem very agreeable at all,
Oh,
despite
I remembered. I
what the
remembered it.
master can do.
So it kind of has to do with what you were saying. So it's also kind of crazy just how weak they are compared to the OG Demon Slayers. Because
Yeah,
when
true
you think
that.
about it, none of them have killed any upper moons until now. You know, those upper moons have been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, which is why they're so strong. Meanwhile, the upper moons have been known for killing multiple Hashira. Like, it's insane how we're looking at them. We're like, wow, they're so strong. But compared to, like, to the OGs, compared to, like, Yorichi and them, they were nothing.
Very true.
Like the original Water Hashira, Stone Hashira, Wind Hashira, like it is like on another level. So it's like at the same time, kind of disappointing that they're not pushing each other harder, or that they have become so complacent, because like they've been like the most important demon slayers. That's why they're always out on missions, but they're not working together. They're not at like the highest missions. Like they're not like actively hunting upper moons and stuff like that. You need multiple to go against one, and that is the one thing of why, as a non manga reader, I was so impressed by the Miss Hashira, because this is the first time ever we saw a Hashira go 1-on-1 against an upper moon and win. Not only that, but he didn't get permanent damage. Like, that's what they used to do back in the day. It used to be 1-on-1, and they used to smoke them, you know what I mean? And it's insane just
Yeah.
how much stronger the upper moons have gotten and how much weaker the Hashira have gotten. So I really want to see the Hashira take it more serious in a way, because when you think about it, like they're like I feel like that's what they should have been doing. That's what Hashira training should have been. Like, forget the fucking younger guys that aren't gonna do shit. The lower ranks that just like aren't really gonna serve a purpose in the war. I feel like just sharpen the Hashira because like compared to the OGs, they are dull. You know what I mean? And it's
Very
just
true.
like you look at what I forget his name, but the Stone Hashira, who's apparently the strongest. Like, would he even like make a dent in the back in the day, like the OGs? Would he even like come close? You know what I mean? So it's just like I would love to see them take it more seriously, like they kind of are with the sparring, and be like, okay, how can we get better? How can we unlock these Demon Slayer marks? How can we use them to our full advantage? You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, that's just something I've noticed and kind of like hope for.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They do kind of dive into that as like these major battles goes on. So we do get some of that, and like they have spoken on, I think in the second season that Yorichi was like the first, sun breathing user, and like the breathing styles. You're right, were way stronger back when these like progenitors of like the entire style, like the first like water user, lightning
Mm-hmm.
user, they were all much stronger. So like, it would, like you said, it would be cool for the Hashira to acknowledge that and acknowledge that gap, and like what can we do to close that and get to where the tables are turned. We're hunting them rather than the demons hunting everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Because like back in the day, they used to be very scared. I mean, Norichi left
Yeah,
such an ass whooping on Muzan. Centuries later, he's still scared by a pair of earrings. Like that just shows you how strong. And Yorichi again was above everybody else even back then. But like that just shows you just
very
how
true.
strong he was. And just how strong everyone else was too, because Yorichi, I'm pretty sure, taught them the other breathing styles, but I don't think he mastered any of the other ones except for sun breathing. So, like, that also shows just how strong they were, to keep up with him to a certain level. To a certain level. I know he was above everybody else, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You just want them to, like, acknowledge that, like you were saying, and just, like, try to be better. Because, like, you're going to have, like, what, 3-on-1? And even then, they're probably not going to win. You know what I mean? It's just going to be one of
That's
those
how hard it
things.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's just how different the skill gap is now. Where before you can go 1-on-1, and now it's like, okay, you got 3-on-1, and even then, if you can get a fourth or a fifth, that's going to be nice. Daki fucking killed Hashira. She said she had five
yeah.
under her belt. Daki did. You know what I mean? That just kind of goes to show that, like, they're not as strong as they used to be. If Daki's able to get him.
Very true. Yeah, it'll be cool to see how they kind of wrap up this season and kind of where we get to and how they like lay the next arc out. I
Yeah.
mean, we know it's going to be the Infinity Castle, but it'll be cool to see how they prep us and if they give us any information on what we can expect for next season. I mean, we all have a pretty good general idea of what's going to happen, but it's always exciting to see it animated. You know what I mean? Give us like an actual bit of like
When
stuff to look
when do
for.
we think the next season's going to be though? That's the problem.
Yeah, it'll probably be 2026, I would think.
Do
You know
we
what I mean? It always
think?
takes at least a year in between, but
I
I
mean,
don't know like
I think they're working on it right now because this is like I think two more episodes and this season's over. Like this isn't a full season.
okay, so that would make sense. And like Demon Slayer is like one of the one of the premier animes. Like they're probably going to get more work and attention than a smaller side anime.
So
So
hopefully
like
next year, hopefully,
yeah, even if it was the
please.
end of next year, that would be awesome. Because like once I feel like once it kicks off, it's like all the way pedal to the metal till the end. It's an absolute masterpiece. So I really am excited. I'm enjoying what we have now, but I'm definitely ready for it to really kick off.
Oh my god, boys, we're just like fat and happy with this anime. It's amazing. Speaking of fat and happy with anime, My Hero Academia or Windbreaker?
I feel like Windbreaker was like kind of tame this week. It was fun, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like more chill and like kind of like we had talked about picking up the pieces. But My Hero, after I was like honestly mad annoyed, the first like 8.5, 9 minutes were straight recap of
I
like the
called it
entire
though.
last
I
episode.
called it. It's not going to be combat, and I don't even think next episode's going to be fighting either.
Nah, they'll start to like lay the groundwork and like you'll get like a couple shots in here and there. But it was kind of cool to see how they like featured some of the side characters and the dude who makes the portals. That was really cool. Like kind of that trope that you'll only be a side character and you can't really impact the battle. Well, that's exactly what he does in this episode,
Yeah,
kind of splitting everybody up and setting the
bipolar as
stage for these
fuck too,
individual
though.
battles.
Like the episode starts with him like, "Oh, I'm just a side character. Woe
Yeah,
is
all
me."
like
And he's like,
down
"I'm
and like
pulling the
sad.
strings. I'm the greatest." I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro! Like you get a little bit of confidence and like went straight to your head.
Yeah, he's popping off.
You went from like depressed to needing a psych ward. I mean, be careful, buddy. You're gonna go to the silly room. Like it's no joke around here.
Yeah, it was super cool to see that. And then one thing that really had me surprised was Toga kind of pulling Deku in, breaking up their plan, throwing a wrench in it, and pulling her into her portal,
That's
which
gonna
I
piss
felt
me
like was
off.
kind of a gimmick. And you had texted me and said, like, you should wrap this up quick. You should pack Toga up in, a couple episodes,
Toga's
2 to 4
strong,
episodes.
but Deku's OP.
Yeah, like there's not a fight there. She might be able to stall him or get a couple shots in, but like 2, 3 episodes, he should be out of there. That fight would be over.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think they'll probably drag it. Toga's got that like emotional lack of like the shitty family life. Like she's
Yeah.
looking for that like emotional bond.
Yeah.
Obviously with Deku, like
Yeah,
they'll
she was
probably
hunting
drag
him.
that.
She saw him and she's like, I want him. Like he's mine.
Yeah, dude, she's got the hots for Deku. I mean,
Uh before we
get in
get
line, but
before we get too far into it, so I did think that the beginning of the episode was cool that we did get to see the explanation behind everything. This setup of, okay, here's how the ambush is going to be. And then also, I think it was genius the way they split everybody up, because that's what I brought up last episode. I'm like, bro, like, how are they, like, everyone's in one spot? I thought the whole thing was distance. Like, how are you going to distance everybody when we're all right there? And the way that they did it was fucking genius. I was like, this
super
plan
cool.
is amazing. And then, of course, Deku gets pulled in at the end. Here is my though problem with it. I just wanted to kind of give it its props. I thought that was kind of cool. I knew it was gonna be talking, so I'm glad that they explained everything and did a great job, and it was a cool plan. Um, I don't think I'm gonna like how the rest of the season goes, because if we're looking at it,
Interesting.
Deku is gonna stoop down to her level, and it's gonna be one of the things where you have a pretty strong character against an OP character. Deku should just be out of there, and realistically, like 2 episodes max. And that's with showing other fights too. And it's going to get dragged on. Deku's probably going to lose. I mean, the villains are going to win. All for One is going to smoke Endeavor. That's not happening because Endeavor needs to fight Dabi. So that's going to be a loss on that battlefield. Dabi against Shoto, again, it needs to be Dabi against Endeavor, so that's going to be a loss. That's going to be a win for the villains. You don't have Deku when it comes to Shigaraki, I think it is.
Yeah.
And you need that confrontation, so that's going to be a loss for the heroes. And then, of course, it's going to be Deku stooping down to some level to make it like, the whole dramatics and to keep it going on. So maybe Toga gets his blood and then dips. So like that's only one where it might be a dub. But like I feel like the villains are gonna win. I feel like the way it's set up, it's just like it's so predictable and so like cliche, I guess. Like I want it to be. Here's what I want. Okay, hear me out here, boys. Take a step back. Enjoy my delusion. I want All for One to kill Endeavor. Just get rid of him. Get rid of the character. He doesn't have any fans. I feel like it'd be sick. It would be the coolest thing Endeavors did the entire 7 seasons is to die by All for One. And then it's like, oh shit. Like, oh my god, we lose Stars and Stripes and Endeavor, the number one hero. Like, whoa. You know what I mean? Have Shoto and Dabi, have Shoto win. I think his name's Shoto. Have him win. Right? Yeah. And it'll be so cool and kind of have it be more of a win where it's like they become brothers again at the end. Like Dabi only is a villain because of Endeavor. The entire reason. It's not like he hates other people. He just hates his father.
Daddy issues.
Exactly. And what if they become boys again? And then Dabi comes to their side. You know what I mean? That's something that could easily happen. But no, we're going to have Dabi versus Endeavor. It's going to be stupid. Right? I think it'll be so cool to have that be a win for the heroes. Right? You have Toga against Deku. Easy. Clean it up. We're good. I don't care how it's resolved, whether Toga's dead, arrested, turns, does not matter. And then Shigaraki wins, right? Gets that dub. Maybe Bakugo gets hurt, right? Maybe he gets hurt. Ready? So that's how I kind of like to plan out. But then here's what happens. You got the two brothers. They meet up with Deku and Bakugo. And they're all going to go against All for One now, right? Like, that'd be sick. Like, those four really getting ready to face off and take on... oh, no. Deku would come back, defeat Shigaraki, whatever way it is. Like, let's say death. Let's just say death. He'd come in after Shigaraki beats them, does that. Bakugo is, severely injured, and now they all go to against All for One. I feel like that would be way cooler. It would be way more high suspense. You have the villains winning on certain angles and the heroes winning on certain angles and be, like, awesome. But, like, imagine this. just imagine, this is where it really gets delusional. On their way over there, Deku gives a piece of his hair to Bakugo and says, eat it. Because they're only after Deku because of his powers. So the smartest thing is, give it to somebody else. They wouldn't know. That's the one thing that is like completely like they wouldn't expect. And that's genius. You know, then Bakugo's kind of saved. He's now that hidden weapon where it's like, no, he really has the powers. You can have Deku all you want. It's not going to work. He just has the remains of One for All. You know what I mean? And then you kind of have that kind of like that fight. Dabi's involved. It's like a real close battle, and it's just like one of those things at the very end, that trump card where Bakugo has it, and it's like boom, they end up winning. But we don't know that Deku gave him the powers until the very end, and then we're like, oh my god, what the fuck? Deku dies, dude. That would be insane because when Deku gives his powers away, he would die, and it would be that very emotional death where maybe all for one gets and it gets him. It ends up kind of killing him. He's like, oh, I'm gonna take your powers, and he's like, wait, what's up with this? Bakugo comes around the corner and does the Detroit punch or something, takes him out, and that's where we end up learning that, you know, they end up transferring powers. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. But it's not gonna be that way. It's gonna be dog shit. It's exactly what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the villains win in all matchups. You know, somehow Toga gets Deku's blood. You know, Deku, this overpowered character, is going to lose to this fucking vampire chick who is like not even close to being ranked to the highest, and it's just going to be like such a talk no jutsu ending, and it's going to suck. It's going to suck, man. My delusion is so much better. It is. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer my delusion compared to the very predictable My Hero Academia. And if I'm just completely wrong, don't spoil it. Just say shut the fuck up. Okay, that's it.
I will say My Hero is very predictable. I think a lot of events that are about to come up, like you could, without any knowledge, be like, I think this will happen. And a lot of that does play out the way you would think it does.
Great.
It's still fun, and I definitely think it's worth the watch, but like some of it is predictable. I don't really know, as far as the fights go, who kind of like does what or who the difference makers are, but it would be cool to see Bakugo step up in Deku's absence and, yeah, kind of like, not necessarily earn his keep, but like,
All Might was his hero too, though. Like, him getting the powers as well would just be so, like, icing on the cake. And his body's strong. He could handle it.
Yeah, I think it would be a good plot point, but I just don't know kind of how they'll handle the Toga thing. I think they'll drag that out longer than they need to, which will be interesting to see how it affects, like, Shoto and Dabi and Bakugo and Shigaraki. Because, like, at the end of the day, the villains are lined up to win most of these matches. I don't think the heroes really have the advantage in any of them. Like you said, Endeavor and Dabi is like the fight. So he's not just going to like toss Shoto to the side and beat him in one episode. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out and kind of like not necessarily who wins the fights, but how they play out and how, you know, they come to win and lose and all that. But I think there is an air of predictability about the war, but a lot of like build up and a lot of preparation, I feel like can do that to an arc. You know what I mean? It's not to say it's bad or it'll play out poorly, but I feel like we have kind of built up, some predictability. So like, I'm definitely with you.
Bro, like, again, I don't want it to be that way, especially when it's like, okay, like, it's super predictable. We're just going to drag it out for multiple episodes. Toga, again, somehow is going to get some bullshit win over Deku, where it's not really a win, but it kind of is. And it's like, Deku should have made light work of it. It's just like,
yeah,
they already surprised us once with killing off Stars and Stripes. Keep doing that. Keep surprising us. Keep doing unpredictable shit. That would be awesome.
Because it's the end of the story. Like, this is really the end of My Hero Academia. So, like, obviously you don't want them to kill off a ton of characters, but, like, some consequences.
I do. Kill them all.
Or, like, a couple, like, take away a few main characters to, like, make the impact of the story a little bit more. Like, we all hate to see, like, our favorite characters die.
But Endeavor, like, we'd love that. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, like, I think there's some of them that you could probably call coming just because of like the story implications and the lore implication. But yeah, just give us something to like, something memorable, something tangible that we're like, oh shit, that really happened. We're not coming back from this.
And they might. They already did the Stars and Stripes. Like this season. Literally this
Very
season
true.
they've already done something that we're like, holy shit. So you know what I mean? Like they definitely could surprise us. So, like, I could be completely wrong. I just still think my delusion is going to be a better ending. I'm just saying. That would be dope.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see how this continues to play out, especially because I just have no idea. Like, I know it seems super predictable, but, like, at the same time, They've already surprised us. Let's just see how it plays out. Let's just see the fighting start and see how it goes. Uh, yeah. Hopefully, My Hero Academia. Hopefully, we've already
I
had.
got faith.
Yeah, I have faith too. Like how many? Yeah, I'm just not gonna say it. I'm just not gonna say that. I'm just not gonna say it. Windbreaker, Windbreaker, bro. Dude, I like Windbreaker. I thought it was cool. I'm a
Yeah,
big
fun
Togami
episode.
fan. Dude, his change from the first time we saw him until now, just completely different. Completely.
Huge. Yeah, it's nice to see like you can introduce a villain and somebody kind of that's antithetical to what like Umemiya believes and kind of like Sakura's character. Like they really butt heads, which makes for like a great rivalry and a great fight. But seeing him come around, and I think via Umemiya's like big plot point, I feel like that's kind of like the theme for the entire season one. Kind of like this conversation, like they're talking at the cafe. Like your fists don't actually speak. You're not
Oh,
exchanging
that was
words.
so
It's
funny.
yeah, it's hysterical. He spits like the hot coffee in his face.
Dude, what's his name? I wrote it down. Shugashita, I think that's his name. Stands up,
Yeah,
pissed off,
yeah,
like he can't believe he just did that. Like you just spit coffee in Umamiya's face.
yeah, dude. It
they're
was
like, they're like,
awesome.
calm
Like,
down, calm down.
yeah, their interactions are really good, and like they're getting closer too, which is cool. But it was cool to see Togame's change through that like plot device that really I think is Umemiya's ultimate overarching lesson that he wants to teach the leaders at Furin. He's the top dog, but Sakura, Suo, Shugashita, and the Heavenly King. What the fuck is his name?
You're the one. Umamiya. No, not Umamiya. I don't know. You're the one who always remembers his name. I never remember his name.
They got the spiky hair and the spiky teeth. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, brother. We'll get you next week.
yeah.
But like he wants to impart this like sense of maturity and responsibility, right? They all kind of have it in a way, but like when you're fighting, I think Umemiya is trying to get this point across. Like, why are your? He's like teaching Choji in their fight. Why do your fists have no weight? It's because you're not fighting for anything. And I think this episode kind of focused a lot on that for Sakura. Like, if you want to take that top spot, you have to be able to do that and empathize with your opponent, but also teach them, see where they're coming from, but show them that your ideals and your resolve is stronger than them because you have more important things to protect. And that's why
Assert
Umemiya
dominance.
literally assert dominance, assert your will on that man.
Yeah, no, there's so many things that I've really enjoyed. I think the beginning of the episode, the first half, it was resolving this Shistoran arc, which I think was dragged on, especially towards the end there. Because Choji's last episode felt like okay, it's a lot repetitive, and then we're going to drag that on to another half of the episode. But I think it was really kind of cool, especially because like, dude, I love Togame, I love Choji. I think that there's awesome characters, great character development, great character designs.
Agreed.
Going to see them more in the story, which is going to make it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. But then it's like we go to the coffee shop and we're back to the laugh. We're back at home. You know what I mean? And a lot of learning and things that are being talked about there. And one of the biggest things that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that I feel like we all have Sakura's mentality. Fuck everybody, cut everyone off, do it by ourselves. And Togami's like, bro, no one really gets to where they are on their own. I'm not at the top because I fought for it. I got carried here. I got put here. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's like a big thing to always realize. Always realize it's like a different way of explaining kind of the Naruto lessons of friendship and friends and working together and using your resources. Like you have people around you that will help, that can assist and can do things. So it's like don't do it all by yourself. You know what I mean? And it's the whole thing of being a leader
Absolutely.
and being brought to the top type thing. So I feel like that was huge for Sakura's character development and kind of seeing that and realizing that, which he got upset about. But yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that they didn't really talk about how like Sakura took on the number two guy Kagame and like won. Like they didn't come back and were like, hey, like Tachibana, like guess what Sakura did? Like, I feel like that's really
Nah,
fucking impressive.
even when they were at the Ori, like they don't really give him credit. They kind of know that Togame stepped down and kind of stooped to
But
Sakura's
like
level.
still, he
But
put on a
it
show.
Yeah, and he got across to Togame and kind of taught him what Furin was trying to get across. And I feel
Mhm.
like he should have got a little more credit for that. I don't think they really speak on it. But I do think we got a lot this episode. Excuse me. I think we got a lot this
We got too much
episode
this
on,
episode.
as I'm talking about maturity and responsibility. You can see from Sakura's reactions, in that conversation with Umemiya, like he doesn't even want to be there. There's nothing for him to celebrate. He has no reason to be happy. Even though they won, he didn't perform and win the way he wanted to. So he's feeling some type of way about it. Through that conversation, you can see like he doesn't really think like some of the other Furin guys. He definitely doesn't share Umemiya's mindset, but he also doesn't have that same sense of responsibility. He's just out to prove to himself that he's strong as he thinks he is, which I really do like. Kind of like you said, we all kind of empathize with Sakura. We can all like adopt that mindset. But Umemiya is right, and that personal growth that hopefully everybody goes through when they're in high school or their early 20s. Like, you do need to rely on friends and family, and whatever your situation might be. Sakura doesn't have family that he can lean on. You still have a good group of friends and dudes that you can use. You have to use your resources to succeed in life, and if you're going to chase this lofty goal, like there are some things that you have to have in place to take that goal on. And we've heard a couple people, namely like Suo, say like, I thought you were crazy to challenge the top spot, but you're definitely going to do it, and I can see that in you, and like you weren't kidding, like you're genuine about it. So it's kind of cool to see them focus on like his personality, and I think kind of his shortcomings from his past that need to be rectified for him to become like the top dog at Furin.
And I can't wait to see that next episode. I feel like next episode we're gonna go back to the school, and that's when I feel like they're gonna flex about Sakura, and like, yo, guess who this guy took on, and guess who he beat. You know what I mean?
The new guy.
I feel like that's when Sakura's gonna be like very overwhelmed. So everyone's gonna be like, dude, you beat Tsugame? Like, no way. Like, people.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good call. And I think we'll meet some of those other characters too, like the two we haven't really been introduced to yet. I think it'll be cool to see them kind of like warm up to Sakura, and like you said, everybody kind of like give him his props for taking down their number two.
Yeah, I'm not lying though. I'm definitely looking for this to start speeding up. I love the anime, still very much enjoying it, but it's like it feels like it's gotten very slow, very focused on one plot point. I'm looking forward to be like, okay, like next episode, let's really get that ball moving again. Let's really start to work on like meeting some of the other characters, kind of developing more of the story, like kind of like where's it going from here, and kind of, and that might be Kaiju number eight's fault with how fast it is and how much they give us. Because then it just makes Windbreaker feel a lot slower, especially when they're like back to back when you kind of like look at them. But yeah, definitely want to see it start to evolve a bit more, start to pick up a bit more.
I'm definitely with you. Like, this was a cool episode and everything, but even if we chill next episode, like give us something to lead us into like the series or the season finale, and like set us up for the next arc. Like give us something to come back for next season, other than just like, yeah, there's a bunch of good fights, cool characters.
Yeah, like we're almost done the season. We
Maybe
don't
I'll
even
tune in.
know there's other two characters yet.
Yeah, I would like for them to kind of pick it up, like start pushing the pace a little bit. And I'm definitely with you. I think that is Kaiju's fault because it's so well written and it adapts to the anime so well.
Oh my god,
like,
yeah.
You could have like a chill episode, like they party, you know what I mean? They kind of like argue about work in a way. And like we get to know some of the characters, but we still have that development at the end of the episode that's like, oh shit, next two episodes are gonna have some serious combat and like some shit going on. Hopefully Windbreaker gives us that. If not next episode, like towards the, or I guess they're one episode behind. I can never keep where they're all at.
Kaiju's one behind.
But one behind. Okay, so Windbreaker this season's pretty much over. Like we should be at episode like 10, I think, 10 or 11.
Yeah, probably.
So like, yeah, give me something to say like come back for season 2. Like there's something brewing, or give us something to look forward to as we wrap it up.
Because like Kaiju number 8 is so well rounded. Like I said, each episode is so fast. It's got the combat, it's got the funny moments, it's got the development and the story and the character developments, the building of relationships, introducing all the characters, so many characters, and it's like it just does it all, does it so well, and does it so fast paced, and it just feels filling. You know what I mean? Like you just watch it and you're just like, wow, like what a way.
But not too much. Like you're still like, oh, I'll be here next week. Like you still want that next serving.
There's still so much more on the plate. You know what I mean? And there's still so many reasons to come back and to be excited and look forward to. And it's just like you want to see Windbreaker start to pick that up a little bit because there's still so much we don't know. And it's like, brother, this first season's almost over. And I hope they're gonna be like, hey, it's gonna be 24. Because like you're pacing like it's a 24 episode season.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that does like kind of lend its hand to how well does the manga translate to like a TV show or an anime adaptation. Because like if you have these lulls for 6, 7, 12 chapters where they're just like kicking it, we're getting to know people, like you'll have your slow points. So hopefully they do give us like maybe 13, 18, 24 episodes. I think that would do the anime and just the story itself, even the manga. I think it would do it more justice and bring it more popularity because it's beautiful, animated well,
It's so
characters
good
are great,
still.
designs are great, and even like the combat, it's fucking sick. But like you got to keep feeding people. You know what I mean? We got short attention
Yeah.
spans, and we're creatures of habit. So hopefully they continue to give us what we're looking for because I love Windbreaker, and as soon as it's over, I'll be diving into the manga regardless.
Yeah, and
So
that's
hopefully it's cool.
that's the thing. Like, it is very good. It's just a couple of the episodes, especially the ones recently, were just not needed. And that's why it feels, I think, slower. Because, like, in the beginning of the series, it did not feel slow. It felt great. Especially when we started this historian arc. We're like, oh my god, so excited, so much to look forward to. These fights are insane, learning the fight styles. But then towards the end, it's like, okay, like, there's way too much focus on Choji towards the end, especially stuff that we already knew. Then we're going to have a first half of the
Yeah,
episode, be like more of like a recap and breakdown and finalize. You know what I mean? The first part of the episode should have been at the cafe. And then the second half should have been back at school. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
just move a little quicker. I'm definitely with you, and like I didn't. Yeah, I agree. There's maybe some scenes and some minutes that are maybe filler or unneeded.
mhm.
Um, but it's been a decent season overall. I think the biggest thing for me is like those first few episodes we had the story and is like this overarching villain and like you had something to look forward to and you knew there was like fights or pressure coming. Hopefully they introduce
And they
and like
surprised us a lot. There's a lot that
what
we didn't
what is the other
expect.
group that I can simply
Zinc.
never remember? Zinc,
Zinc, yeah.
exactly. Like we know about Zinc, but they're not really a threat yet. We haven't met anybody or seen them do anything. So it'd be cool to kind of get them in the mix and maybe kind of push a new villain or push us into this next arc. You get a couple episodes to chill and familiarize yourself at school, but I'd like for them to kind of push this next villain to the forefront of the story.
Yeah, it might not even, like I said, they really surprised us with the fights. We were completely wrong on a lot of them. So it might not even
Yeah,
be Zinc being the next villain. It could be something entirely different. But yeah, definitely, like, I feel like now that we're back, it's not going to feel slow again. Because, like I said, it was the repetition that made it feel slow. Like, just constantly repeating with Choji stuff. And now that we're back at school, like, the cafe scene was awesome. Like, those interactions, it makes it just feel
yeah,
fast. It's funny, and you learn a lot. So it's just like, now that we're back and we're going to go back to school, got the cafe, I feel like it's going to feel back the way it was back at the beginning of the series, which is going to be like, fuck yeah.
yeah. I'm really excited to see where they take us and kind of what the next step is or next two steps for the show. Um, I think it'll be good. I definitely got faith in it, and I see no reason why they should slow down. You know what I mean? You got new characters you can introduce, and I feel like you have a lot you can play with. So definitely, I mean, it's easy for me to say as like as a fan or as an anime watcher, but like, just give us something these next couple episodes that we're like, oh, I can't wait for season two. Because I feel like with a lot of the shows that I've started watching and gotten into, like Classroom of the Elite, like Freren, some of the ones that we were really into last season, even like One Piece, some of these long running ones are My Hero, where you have like
Konosuba.
yeah, Konosuba, like you still have stuff that I know 10 episodes down the line, like there's something to look forward to, or there's still like a plot line that I have to get to, I have to see. So hopefully they kind of like throw the rod out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel
Give
like
us
they
a
will.
pathway
They
to
haven't
the
failed
rest of the
us yet.
story.
They haven't failed us yet. I
Yeah,
feel like they
agreed,
will.
agreed. They haven't, you're right.
But dude, listen, every week has just been amazing. I mean, I caught back up on Konosuba. Shit is hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
I was finally catching up with Bartender. I have to catch up with Konosuba next, but
well, the
Bartender got
dub's
pretty
back out,
interesting.
so that's how I caught up. I just started watching the
Oh,
dub.
word, okay.
That's how far behind I was. But dude, I mean, there's so many great animes out right now. It's absolutely insane. It's just like each week you just look forward to it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hell yeah.
awesome. So I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys are just binging on this stuff. I mean, there's so much. And you know what? Maybe next season we are going to be making another video like we did the last one, anticipating here's the next anime season, here's what's coming out, here are the dates, here's what we're looking forward to, here are the possible sleepers. I mean, hey, we said Windbreaker was going to be a possible sleeper, and it was, and it still is, and it's still very good.
Delivered,
So,
baby.
we're gonna be having another one of those episodes come out. I guess when we get close to the next anime season, but it has been phenomenal. I can't wait for next week. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and That's it. You got anything else you want to say, or are we just peacing?
Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's kind of bittersweet to see the season end, but I'm looking forward to what's next. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like we have some cool videos lined up, some new stuff, different series, and yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm excited to keep it rolling. So hopefully you guys are enjoying as well.
Yeah. But that's it, guys. See you guys next week, and peace.